Hey Chris, hey Ashley, and hello to anyone else at Kent Island Chick-fil-A that may be watching this video. My name is Kayla Robison. I am so excited to make this video for you guys. I think having us do a video is such a fun and personal way to get to know us a little bit better. Honestly, I never thought that I would be applying for a job in Maryland. I never thought that I would be applying for a job while in another country or before graduating college, but the steps in this process has been such a good learning experience for me, and I'm so excited to continue it with you guys. And I only have an hour, so let's get started. In 5 years, that'll put me at 27, so I hope to have a majority of my undergrad student loans paid off, which is, I hope, a possibility. I really hope to be loving what I'm doing, no matter what it is. I hope to be working, I hope to have a job, and I hope it's something that's really making an impact on other people, as well as making an impact on myself professionally, spiritually, mentally. I would love to do Chick-fil-A regardless of the role that I'm in. I could be a team member. Chick-fil-A is just where I want to be, so in 27, or by 27, I would hope to have completed the LDP program with corporate and maybe be looking into starting the interview process or having just completed an interview process with corporate for some type of role, whether that be an operator, being on their international team, working for corporate. Yeah, honestly, 5 years, I don't have figured out at all. No, yeah. When I think of stewardship, I really think of responsibility. I picture someone giving you something to treasure, to hold, to take care of, and they're really entrusting you with that. And so it's our responsibility to really put everything that we have into it. I also picture how God gave us this earth and that we must be good stewards of it through our time, gifts, and talents and such. If you don't take care of the thing that you are given, and if you don't take after it and look after it and don't be a good steward of it, then it's going to deplete and it's not going to be and grow the way that it's intended to. Leadership to me means being a role model, not only in the workplace, but outside of the workplace. That can be with friendships, relationships, siblings. Honestly, any conversation you have, you can lead by example and be a leader. It's remembering, as a Christian especially, the type of tone you set with others, the type of influence that you may have on others, the things you say, the things you do, the way that you present yourself can really all impact the way people view you and the type of leader that you are. Being a leader means being someone to do something first without being told, and without having some sort of praise or reward at the end. It's really going above and beyond your expectations and role that you are supposed to play, and really standing out amongst others, but doing it in a positive and influencing way. Integrity is really just being honest and owning up to your mistakes, owning up when you do something wrong, no matter the consequence. And it's even going above and beyond and stopping something. If you see something is not right, if you know someone is doing something that they shouldn't be, really stepping out of your comfort zone and maybe approaching that person, or telling someone that needs to be told about what's going on. It's really being ethically right and having your morals in check, being a whole, strong person, really being confident enough to stick up for what you believe in, no matter if everyone else that you know is doing something that isn't what you feel like should be done. Especially in business, you hear all the time about so many different people doing things that are unethical, things that are just to make a profit, things to just get them one more step ahead. And so really holding true to yourself and really holding true to what you believe in and the foundation that you have created and the roots that you have been brought up from, especially through like Christianity. Pursuing excellence to me really reminds me of how I was raised. I was always raised that if I did the best that I could within my means, then I pursued excellence. It's not just striving for impossible goals. It's not being a perfectionist. It's not being someone that has to have everything right all the time, but it's knowing your limits and really striving to set those and hit those, and pursuing excellence in everything you do. So not even workplace related, not relationship related, but everything, just making it to work on time would be pursuing excellence. And just in your character, pursuing excellence in the conversations you have, the people you meet, the way you behave, the things that you choose to do, just really having a thought behind everything, and having a goal, an end goal for everything that you do. Well, when I think of humility, I think of right away the obvious answer. So someone being humble, someone that will do something good, or maybe go out of their way to do something just for the mere fact that they felt like it needed to be done, not to get praise, not to get recognition, not to be noticed. I also think of humility as really looking past ourselves and looking past our selfish needs and our selfish wants. Especially as a college student, I found that it's really hard to step out of myself and step out of my own desires and needs when I feel like I did something that should be rewarded and it didn't. It has been hard, and you really have to learn that there's more to life, more to doing things, more reasonings behind just someone telling you you did a good job, because you're going to only end up hurting yourself more in the long run if you're always seeking satisfaction and always looking for someone to approve you, someone to affirm you. So really, humility is just being comfortable in oneself and being comfortable with what we have, being content, and not going above and beyond trying to look for more than that. My greatest weakness is probably getting tunnel vision. I get really intense. I get really into what it is that I'm doing. And sometimes I have a hard time looking around, looking at other things that are going on around me. How that's really impacted me in the workplace is, say it's on a busy day and I'm really focusing on bagging the food and pushing out the orders of the drive-thru, and someone needs a refill in the corner and there's no one there to help them. Sometimes I found that I'll beat myself up over it because I saw them last minute when someone else had already gotten it. Another thing that kind of goes with that is I'm really hard on myself. So because I get so intense and because I get so into one thing, sometimes criticism and things, I take it really seriously and I'm really hard on myself, and that really has impacted the way that I feel about myself as an individual, that I feel about myself as a worker. When I think of a leader, I feel kind of lame using this one since this is one of the questions, but integrity is such a big thing. There's so many leaders out there that you can have that don't have integrity, that they don't have the right intentions in place, that they'll step on who they need to get where they are, and no one wants a leader like that. No one wants to be led by someone that doesn't have your intentions, your best intentions in place, but only has their own. Some really cool leaders that I've had have been students, especially on this China trip. They brought along 4 other leaders that have been on this trip last year, and those leaders have been such a huge impact on the experience that I'm having. They're kind of our go-to people. They know the ins and outs, and they're here for us to have a good time. They want to have a good time too, but they really want to help us with our first experience because they've been in our shoes and they know what it's like to be in a place that's foreign and that is new. Another good leader I've had was the first real female leader that I had was this last summer. I worked at a church camp, and I got to work underneath the women's ministry children's director for our camp. And she is just an outstanding Christian. She believes in God's will, and she follows God's will to the best of her ability. She had some crazy things happen to her last year, and she never once shook or never once worried because she knew that God was taking care of her and that she was in God's hands. And that to see is just such an amazing thing. And it's really taught me this last year to just really trust where God is putting me, trust in God's plan for my life, because ultimately He's in control. And I've been doing that so far, and I've really had her as a mentor this last year, and it's been really great. And I'm just seeing God continuously put me in places like this interview with things that I could never put myself in. And so really just surrounding myself. So there was a time where I was actually disagreeing with the decision that the operator had made. He had decided to pull outside play iPads in at around 7 o'clock. And I was the night shift manager, and I would find that consistently every day at around 8:39, we'd get a huge drive-through line. And by that time, we'd already sent home a lot of people, and I'd already sent home a majority of our staff. And so we would really struggle at that time to keep our speed of service, to keep things moving at the pace that they should. But I knew approaching him and trying to tell him that we should put on a little bit more labor to keep an iPad outside to keep things moving, I had to have, real numbers. I had to have things and probably a few other people's opinions on board. So first I approached the general manager. I got her opinion of it. I got what she thought. We looked at the numbers. We talked about what putting on new labor would look like. A great accomplishment that I received was really being promoted to manager. That definitely had delayed gratification. Being the niece of the operator, people automatically assumed that the only reason I got the position was because I was family. And there was a lot of negative backlash when it first happened. But over time, I really started to develop as a leader. I started to really focus on developing my night shift team, the high schoolers. I really started to go above and beyond and build relationships with them. Really wanted to be someone that they could come and talk to, kind of be this role model. Even though we were similar in age, I really began to earn their respect and things as a leader. But it was a hard time coming. It was very hard. It was very intense, and it was very well known that people did not feel strongly about me being a 19-year-old manager at a store that they had maybe worked harder and felt like they had deserved it more. So yeah. My thought process during all of that was really hard. I really felt like I deserved to be a leader. I knew what the operator wanted. I knew the goals that we had put out for me. I knew the goals I had for myself. I knew that Chick-fil-A was something that I didn't want to just do short term, but that it's something that I really wanted to do long term. I could clearly see the expectations that were had for me. I could clearly see my future and my role that I was playing within the store. So I really just had to keep pushing through, keep building relationships, keep working with people, regardless of what they thought. I had to really just not care what people thought, because I knew that the operator wanted me in that position. I knew that the general manager felt like I deserved to be in that position, and I knew that I had relationships with the other leaders, and that they were growing, and that I was growing as a leader, and that I was being developed myself. And yeah. If I'm not selected for this program, I hope to still be pursuing something with Chick-fil-A. There's a store that's about 10 minutes from my parents' house, the Cerritos Lakewood store. The operator has 2 stores. Chick-fil-A is booming in California right now, so I don't think it would be a bad time to try to get involved in a store out here. I know there's a couple other operators that Buck knows that may be going through a leadership development program, or I can reach out to other people. But I really hope to just keep trying to pump out through Chick-fil-A and really just try to push my way through and use the connections that I have. This was probably one of the most stressful things that I've done. I'm sitting here like watching my time, and I'm running out of time to where I'm not even gonna be able to watch back this video. So I hope I'm not just rambling. I hope I answered all of the questions thoroughly. And I hope I have the opportunity to see you guys in Maryland. Thank you so much.